Welcome back to the farm where it has become early autumn. It indeed is the first day of early autumn. What a lovely time to be alive. We have loads of fields that are ready for harvesting. I say loads, we have 1.5. The half being the potato field right over here, and the other one being the wheat field down on number 14, which I haven't really filled out either, but that's another thing for another day. I finished the maize harvest not that long ago, so we have a lovely full. I even think we'll have a vehicle up here. We've got the Manito. We'll go to this, and you can have a lovely look at my... Oh, I've gone into a tree. I'm drunk farming. Don't ever drunk farm in real life. That's very dangerous. Here we are. This is the dairy farm, or cow farm. The moo cow farm. They will go in there when we get them. And here it is. There is a big silage pit. It's not smooth. I know real silage pits look smooth. This doesn't. It's just hilly and like mountainous. But that's okay. It's my silage pit and I'm proud of it. Over here's our slurry stall. Don't think we said it. It just sort of goes in there. There's nothing there. Just a bit ominous really if you think about it. That'll just be full of shit at some point. Anyway, well, why does it... Stop talking about the radio. I've got a shortcut for that I haven't removed, even though I don't use it. I really should. I have cultivated part of field over there. Haven't finished it yet. It rained and, you know, things happened. I have my potato harvester here, the Grimmett SE260. This is a modded one with Harlem topper included in it, which apparently the real model has. I tried to convert it to more realistic. It seems to work. Don't know how accurate it is. But if you're interested in it, just, you know, put it in the comments and I'll share it. Because really, you know, I don't really necessarily think it works that well. I haven't tried it fully yet. I've just made sure that it literally just works. And it will be used on this field over here, the patchy one. That's not really pretty, but whatever. I do, however, have another dilemma first that I need to address. Well, I don't really need to address it. I just need to make up my mind and find out whether or not I can do this thing. That's not to get stuck in these trees. Hello, potatoes. Yeah, we're doing that. You don't have to talk me like that. We need to make our way over to... Is it this one? I think it's this here. So I'm using these partly for vehicle storage. Yes, I am. I am very much considering getting rid of this case. I don't really want it. I don't really need it. I've played with it a lot back when the first game came out. Oh, Jesus. We were just having a seizure. If you've got epilepsy, sorry what happened there. You're probably on the floor shaking. Don't worry, I have been there myself. Yeah, we want to get rid of this, but before we do anything, let's have a look here into our harvesters. How expensive is... That's 202,000. And how much for a header for the Massey Ferguson? Nope. Oh, here we go. 38,000. We should have that dosh. How much will we get for this combine? Open it up here and find it. We'll get 101 or 104. Presumably a bit more if we deliver it in person to them down there. I'm going to do something here which is very inadvisable. Well, first of all, we need to open this before we can do anything. That is to drive it down with a header still attached. Not advisable. I do not recommend... No. See, this is a problem with using the same keybind for multiple functions. X on my controller is get into vehicle. It is also close doors. I do that a lot. You would think I'd learn, but no, I don't. Also, we keep getting flash-ups there about, you know, country radio stuff. I thought I disabled that. I just didn't because I'm an idiot. I've also got this tractor here that I really need to get rid of. I bought that as a replacement as I couldn't find a mod. And I don't really need it anymore. Go away, country radio, beautiful FM. I'll turn you off if I can. Radio off. Off, I said. There we go. Go away, country radio FM. I don't care about your beautiful strangeness. That's not what we want in the world these days. We don't want... I'm crashing into that. That's not intentional, by the way. That's not... Come on, John Deere. I know you're jealous that you get to, you know, not be the only manufacturer here. We've got others here. That's how the world works. It's a free market. Just buy what you'd like. We'll just move the cultivator that I parked right here. Did I go too far back? I did. Slightly forwards. Attach it here. And bring it up here. Now, since the last video of this, I have tried using a steering wheel with a joystick to drive. It's just very weird. I just wasn't really comfortable with it, so I haven't done it since. Also, I found it really weird with all of the controls. It's just... Doesn't really work. Why are we stuck here? Apparently, oh, there we go. Yeah, we'll just park this over here. That's just fine. Drop you here, turn you off, and we'll go ahead and make our way down. Although it does show rain coming fairly soon. Ah, I forgot something. No, don't turn on the radio. I really need to get rid of that keybind because that is just getting on my breasts. Where was I? I was talking about something. I don't remember, basically. I've just lost my own brain. That happens quite a lot. If you're new, that's just what happens every now and then. Ah, this plan may already come to problems here. No, I remember now. I was talking about using a steering wheel and joystick for this. There was just loads of keys and, you know, commands that you need to save in on the controller, and it just got very weird. But I've since remembered that there is that little iPad or whatever it is app that you can use on the computer to do key shortcuts for stuff, which looks really interesting. I think it's called like Vulcan or Rocket or something. Rocket? No, that's something else, isn't it? No, it's called like Vulcan. It's pretty neat. I've sort of used it before, but I haven't really found much use for it. But it may actually work very well when you have a steering wheel you want to play Farming Simulator with. I've seen a few profiles on that over on MudHub, but they're mostly in German, so that's a bit weird. Also, we need to go a bit faster than this. I've got me high flashing lights on. Clear those signs, I think. Yeah, we'll just put on our headlights as well. Nobody's coming. Yep, this is fine. This will in no way cause any problems whatsoever for us. Oh dear, it may already be... Hello, 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 hello. Come on, go on then. Go on then. I mean, we can give way here. This is good. This is good. There's room for us all. Right, if we just share the road and a bit of the hedge to our left-hand side, it just works, okay? We can now take up all of the road because nobody's coming against us. We'll just floor it here. Car is coming now, and it's a big American SUV. Hello. Okay, why are we bouncing about? Thank you kindly. That was very nice of you. I do love you very much, sir. We'll accelerate away down here just on the power massively. 35 kilometers an hour. This is like real life farming thug life. I've seen farmers do this with a header about this size, so I don't really feel too bad. Although I did not really have kind thoughts about said farmer when I saw him do it. But he was on a small road and I wasn't going on it. I may perhaps have changed my mind had I gone the way he was going. Because really it's just a massive dick move, even though you just drive on small fields, or not small fields, but on smaller roads. Because you're really breaking the law. First of all, I'd like to point out this is much wider than it has any law to be. If you wanted to transport something like this wide, you need some sort of special permit to do it, because you're blocking the roadway and that, and the police would not take kindly to it. Maybe they would in America, just no over here. No, but that wouldn't go. If the police saw you do that, you'd end up in trouble, especially if it was a traffic officer. I think in America that would be like, I don't know, the highway police? You know, the ones that go out and they do traffic enforcement and that. Oh yeah, look at this, we get more dosh for it now. We can even return this over here for a wee bit more dosh, and we got plenty of dosh. Look at that, oh beautiful. Can we get a discount over here if we buy it from you? No, it's 202. The Massey Ferguson MF Activa 7347S. Yes, let's get that one. Ooh, that is a big impact on our wallet. Let's go ahead and grab the header as well. The free flow 25 feet, which is 7.6 meters in, you know, logical measurement things. Where's the header trailer? It is where? Header trailers. There we go. It was 25 or something. This is just too short. Oh, whoops. Oh, whoops. Yep, there we go. See, the whole control thing is a bit weird, so we have to do the bogey one here. Whoopsies, that colour there, rim colour. We'll make no jokes about that. We are a mature and grown audience on this channel. No, really we're not, but, you know, sometimes you just go, okay, beep at me, please, thank you. I love it when you make that noise. Apparently we're supposed to do... There we go. According to that warning label, we need to do 2 honks, and then we need to do something else. I don't know what it is. Pop the kettle on. Honk twice for the kettle to pop on. That's a British function, by the way. I believe these are somewhat built in Denmark, or parts of them are built up near Randers. I think they bought, back in the day, Massey Ferguson or ACCO. They bought a combine manufacturer up there, and they're now making some of them for the European market. I don't know if it's all of them, But I do know they still have a factory up there, which is very good to see indeed. Although this does seem to be quite... this doesn't seem to be the right size for this. But there's no... Yeah, actually, I know it's not the right size because I can't even fit it on there. Bloody hell. So let's go in here. Whoops. Garage. Let's go in here and sell that trailer. If we... Where is it? Oh, confusing. Where are we? We are the world. No, we're not. We're here with the Leguan Quattro 40 feet headers. Let's go for the shop. Go in here and grab this one. Get a sort of darker colour as well. And buy you for me. Thank you kindly. I can see a tree. I can see a header trailer. I'm a happy camper. We'll just lower it all down. Let's see here. This looks sort of righteous, doesn't it? Like, you'd need to do precision driving for this. You would need somebody to spot for you. Let's just bring it back a bit because I wasn't really happy about that. Drop you off there, engage the reverse, and we'll just try and see if we can't hook it up out the front. Is that automatically locking onto the trailer? I'll find out in a second once we reattach. Let's see here, toggle. Yeah, it does log on automatically. So we'll put on our warning lights so people don't crash into us. Because people do that, you know, they don't necessarily pay attention all of the time. We'll try and clear this. I also hope the audio level is sort of okay for this. I know I'm moving my head about a bit, so I'm not talking into the microphone 100% of the time. But I should have fixed at least some of the audio issues that's been present. Yeah, it is present, because I was going to say pleasant, but that's not right. Yeah, oh god, now I've got it all cocked up in my head. Yeah, present for the past couple of videos. The trucking simulator video, that's just the thing. Like, I'm quite far away, can't set up the microphone and try to correct. I'm going for a sign. I've gone for a sign with my back, but it's okay. Yeah, it's just a thing for the trucking videos, but they're quite nice. And Medieval 2, literally haven't got a clue what went wrong there. That was just the first video. Apparently I pointed the microphone up my nose or something, because the audio was completely messed up for that. But I think I sort of managed to make it work a bit, but sorry about the annoying of that. This should be a bit better, however, and we are off it. Oh, we're going very fast. Let's slow it down a bit. Yeah, 20 kilometers an hour seems a lot safer. Sadly, we can't press the buttons up there. We can look about in here. Oh, hello. There's a larder. Let's avoid the larder. Don't want that. No, I don't think that's a larder. It looks more like a... Is that a larder? No, it's not. Larder's got the big, boring rear lights. Anyway, you know, that's not the important part. Oh no, the important part is that I need to yawn, as usual. We are going... Hang on, I can do a shortcut here. We need to get started a bit for the weather to kick in. We've got rain coming in the next 3 days. Will all be rain, and with more realistic, there is a wet ground penalty. Of course, you can't harvest when it's wet. Do we really don't have anybody behind us? I thought we'd have people in cars and that. Let's go back into the Marseille Ferguson and swing onto this field. We can shortcut it, you know. Can we get the back end with us as well? Oh, hang on, it's clipping. I've got massive clippage on the back end. So that's a lesson learned. We have to not attach the header trailer to the back of the combine because it plainly doesn't work. The mirrors doesn't work either, which is a bit annoying, but hey, that's been a thing for the past 2 games where we've out mirrors, and I've talked about that before. Okay, another yawn, great. We are nearly at field number 14. We can just see some of the crop in here. We will swing around the back end here. Up we go. It's attached to the header, so we can just park here. Stop, go forward. Let's unfold and reverse. Surely we'd have some sort of like reversing camera on this thing. Maybe we don't. Maybe it's just hidden away, like from the exterior view. Oh my god! Oh Christ! And into the field we go. Let's try and make a decent show of this. Before we kick off, however, I want to set up my GPS. I'll bring you up here, working with, please, 7.6 meters. Let's try and... Well, can we actually see the pathway it is finding out here? I can't... Oh, I can. I can sort of see it. It's rotating around. I mean, we'll kick off here. This will be just fine. We'll do a straight run down, and then we'll do a bit of headland at the other end if we need to. Well, actually, how is this field looking? No, we need to go slightly further over in order to get the decent length of the field, but I don't know how that works with a straw swath and all that, but it'll work. Let's lower it down and get into the field work. Engage the GPS, turn off the minimap, we don't need that. No, we're still going on here. Oh, we don't have a lot of power here, Christ. Is this because we also need... Yep, there we go, we're now building up momentum. Are we? No, we're not. No, wrong, no. Oh, hang on, there we go, we're now laying down a straw source. We had been the whole time. Good, that's the only thing I wanted to make sure what we were doing, because we kind of want that here. Apparently, are we only doing 5 kilometers an hour? Hang on, that doesn't say anything about our speed. That monitor over there is useless. Does that monitor really not have any usable information on it? No, it doesn't. That's just great. You see, it would be nice if that was actually usable. Down there, those monitors weren't just pretty, but they were actually had a function. Like, they have everything, like, really cool stuff over here. Like, all of that would do a cool stuff. It just doesn't, it's just there. It's a bit dull. But anyway, let's not moan too much. I've just noticed I need to download that texture replacement thing because the crop texture doesn't match when you're harvesting. But we'll just try and not care about that right now. I'll try and care about the show, however. Of course I do. Would this be a video without me yawning excessively in it? No, you're right, it wouldn't. But this is part of why this is such a beautifully designed map. You've got all this undulation, not just overall in the mapping, because there are probably other hilly maps out here, but they've actually gone in and made details to the actual fields out here. Like, there's all these little crests and bumps and like dips and depressions and slopes. It's wonderful. Like, they really do make each field feel a bit more unique than you would expect them to be. And can we also perhaps reduce... No, this makes no difference at all. So we're stuck doing 4 kilometers an hour. Oh joy, oh joy. At the very least, we can keep a track on how much we are harvesting through our window. And worryingly, that doesn't seem to be that solidly attached at the top end. There just seems to be 2 flimsy brackets that are holding it on up there. Like it's some sort of openable flap. Like, if I was sitting here as a driver, I wouldn't want to see that behind me once I have a full grain tank of like 6,000 or 7,000 litres of grain. No, thank you. Thank you very much. I'd like some very solid glass back there, or plastic that can take the pressure, not something that's going to fling open. Like a terrible oven lid or something like that. We've all had those ovens, right? They're a bit flimsy. I don't think they're actually designed to flip open whilst in use. But the one I have sort of flips closed. Like, if I want to leave it open to, like, you know, cool down on that, most of the time it just shuts again. So I have to leave it fully open, and on the top end there's a little metal bracket or a little metal sort of facing that goes all the way over just behind the handle. Now that gets very hot because, you know, it's an oven and it's set at 200 degrees, twice the temperature that water boils. So when that's open and I'm walking around out there in the morning when I've done my morning bread up, it gets quite sometimes painful for my shin, which isn't nice at all. It hurts really, like my wrist does right now, which is a joke. Not really. My wrist literally just hurts today. Don't know why. For no good reason, it just decided this morning, hey, I don't feel like being a wrist. I feel like being a pain in your arse, and it has been for most of the day. But what can you do? Nothing I can do about it. Can't change the wrist out, so just got to suck up and deal with it, or have a massive moan, because, you know, I'm a man. That's what men do. Unless we're trying to impress someone, then we are very cool and we try and just take it in, or we just don't want to annoy people if we're in a very serious situation, such as soldiers. You know, you usually don't get anywhere with your soldier. Technically, soldiers, don't they love to moan? But once shit gets really tough, they sort of just shut up. Like, usually, in the environment I've worked in, it's been a very good sign if everybody has something to moan about. It means that everything is well. You need to worry once people aren't moaning anymore. It means that they are, you know, in a very serious stress situation, and they might need, you know, they're under pressure if they can't moan. So, you know, good thing if people can moan, right? I also heard today that on the radio, I heard it. I didn't just, you know, hear it out and about. It's not like I've got a divine connection to the gods. That apparently prices for freight is going up because there's not enough lorry drivers, which is a bit of a weird situation. I know they've been saying for a couple of years now that there's a shortage for lorry drivers, but I didn't know it was so bad that they literally have to increase their freight rates, although it could just be an excuse. That could be likely too, I know. Those greedy bastards. But that certainly out there sort of takes away some of the sort of, you know, I suppose the hostility towards the Eastern European ones, at least over here in Europe. Because, you know, if there's a shortage of lorry drivers in the country, obviously you're going to get some from the outside to come in and do the job. And that's just how it works. That's literally the EU in a nutshell. We've got stuff that we're good at, and then we're missing stuff, and then other people come in from Europe and do the stuff we need them to do. I mean, they've just built some rail lines they're trying to do. They're supposed to have finished, like, many months ago, but it's all been postponed several times, and it's just not going well. Basically, the country's fucked, but what's the change in that, eh? We're now approaching 80% on our grain tank, which is nearly 6,900 litres. It is pretty much bang on 80%, so that's lovely. We may do a short drop as we are coming up here to the top of the field. And what's the point in going all the way down if I need to empty it halfway? So we'll try and get a tractor set up. Of course it'll be my trusty John Deere. Why wouldn't I use my trusty John Deere? It's very good, it's very trusty, it's very reliable. How do I extend the piping? There we go, that's just a different command. We'll leave it right about here. So my plan is to do as much on field number 14 as I can before the rain comes in. I don't know exactly when it will hit, but it will hit at some point, and then at that point we just can't harvest on this anymore. So we will have to try and find something else to do. Power up this tractor. We need a... Whoa, let's not reverse, let's go forward. Now I just got to remember where I left my tipper. I think I remember, but it has been a wee while. Thankfully, I had the computer troubles, but it didn't affect my save file. We're still on the same save file. I backed it up. Didn't put this to back up my mods though. Why would I make such a logical decision? Of course I didn't, so I had to sort all of that out. I had to convert the Holem version of the Grimmer potato harvester to more realistic again, which was a bit of a pain earlier on, but I did it, I think. Like, it works, but there's no way, weirdly, of figuring out whether or not the vehicle you're using is actually more realistic. Previously, in the official Dural version, which was for Farming Simulator 2013, they were a separate category in the store. Like, you had to go in, and it would say MR in front of it, but this just doesn't. Like, if I go into my garage here, I know this over here, all of this, I know this is MR, more realistic, but I don't know, like, when it comes to the mods, I don't know if the mods over here, they're actually running on more realistic, or they are just doing their own thing. That would be nice, but it's just a minor detail. Oh, we also got the grass out ready for a third cut. Now, I think it's just a second cut this year. So that would be lovely once we can get onto that. We'll do that a bit later on. We need to wrap up our normal harvesting first. And I'm coming in here completely wrong. So I will reverse back out here. How are my audio levels? It sounds a bit low. No, it said at 100, so that's good. I'll just turn me little thing here. So I'll... Oh, what am I doing? Yeah, I'm cocking this up. Let's try and get it lined up here. Lovely. Yep, here we go, for example. Here we go. We'll just climb a bit of an incline and go forwards again. There's about 7 hours, I think, 6.9. Yeah, 6.9 engine hours left before I need to service it. And I do love this one. My love for this has not diminished in the slightest bit. Are we in any way lined up with the hole? I think we are. Oh yeah, we're in. I've made it in. I just got to line it up here with the little grain pipe. Come on. There we go. Nope, we're not. I've cocked it up massively. Go forwards again. Stopping, reversing. Bring it in, bring it in, bring it in. There we go. Now we can take all of the grain. We'll just turn it off and we'll leave it here. We don't need to drive it about at the moment. We'll just dump it all in here and we'll try and go down and wrap up this first little section. The section 2 are sort of over there is where I want to kick off. We're completely harvesting that before we move on to the longer lines. I am, however, happy to see that it takes longer to empty your grain tanks on your combines with more realistic. It's always sort of stuck up to me that it's a bit weird how quickly you empty those. In the, well, pretty much all the way back from Farming Simulator 13, both with and without more realistic in all of the games since then. I mean, we're up to the 3rd game, and next year there'll be another one, for me at least, and I'm pretty sure I'll get it. I should be careful about saying that though, because we don't know what they're going to bring in, but if they make like seasons and that integrated, then pretty much that's just an instant buy for me, as it'll fix it. Whoa, 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 whoa. Have we not got power in this? What's the engine in this? Is it like 2 horses? No, it's 306. And I think this is even the small header. I think there's a bigger header available for it. Is there not? Yeah, no, hang on, that's the wrong. That's an Activa. Did we buy that one by mistake or something? Like that one then? No, we didn't. We bought the right one, right? Yeah, we bought that one there. That's the right one. So what was he on about that? I don't know. Anyway, we'll just power through, I suppose. There's nothing else we can do. We can't make it accept any more crane. Oh, hang on. Here we go, though. This is good. Oh, now we've just realised that we need to slow down a bit. Let's just try and bring it down here. Come to a stop. Maybe we can accelerate up here and sort of do it properly. No, it's very adamant that it's going to do this at 4 kilometres an hour, which is very slow indeed. But, hey, let's spend some time talking about the future plans for this farm. I think equipment-wise, I'm pretty much full up. The only thing I need to get is animal care equipment, like maybe 1 or 2 small tractors for the dairy farm, and then I want to obviously get some cows, and I need to get a feeder mixer, and I think that's pretty much it for now. Later on I can get a manure wagon and a slurry wagon as well. I have installed slurry mud as well, which is very interesting. I'm really looking forward to trying that one out, although I don't know if it's compatible with more realistic, but there's only one way of finding out, and that's giving it a go. And that's what I'm planning on doing. Other than that, though, there really isn't much that I need to do, apart from those couple of tractors and that for the farm up north. So the plan is to try and focus a bit more on expanding our land. We have at least one field, field number 12. Oh, hang on, or is it number 12? I think it's number 12 is accessible from our little green pasture that I sort of use as another grass field. Pretty much that's what it is, but it's also used to store stuff and that. So we'll grab field number 12. I do sort of want to get field number 3 as well over there. That's very good for beetroot and potatoes and that, because it's very flat. There does seem to be an issue with seeding on hilly sides with a potato seeder, because it's not flexible at all. It just doesn't really work. Don't know if the bigger one is any better, but I'm guessing it's not, as we've already seen over there on the potato field that we'll get to once it gets a bit wet. I think you can do potato harvesting year round. That's not really dependent on soil moisture or anything. You can just do that whenever you feel like it, whereas grain like this is very much moisture dependent. I don't know what the sort of requirements are for real life, what the moisture quality is, but there certainly is a limit. I've still noticed though that it's early October. Now, hang on, is it early? Yeah, it is very early October. It's the first week of October, and there's still fields that are waiting to be harvested over here. And like today, it was like 10 degrees. Those fields are done. They're not going to get it done. It's been raining today. It'll pretty much be raining until like the late many months. I can't really come up with an example there, but it will rain for quite a long time. Those fields are just done. You can't do anything with them, so do you leave it out for next year? I don't know what you do. Would you just plough it down, or would that just really mess up the soil composition? Or do you just have to bite the bullet and harvest it? Like, I suppose you could really just cut your losses by contracting it out to someone that will be interested in using the crops for whole crop silage. But that's about it, I think. I don't think you can actually use them for anything, which is a bit unfortunate for those farmers that still have fields that are needing harvesting. Unless they just forgot about a couple of the fields around here. Then again, there are other fields that have straw swath laying out and about that hasn't been pressed yet, and other fields that has rotten hay on them. So really, they've had a terrible luck this year. Don't know if it's the same elsewhere in Europe. If it is, I'm just genuinely really sorry for you farmers if that's the case. I mean, I suppose you get the same amount of money, or roughly the same. Whoa, we're going quick here. Wow, woo! We are cropping it down, mowing it down like the Red Army did against the Germans. That's a terrible thing, anyway. Yeah, I mean, don't you, as a farmer, don't you get roughly the same amount of money for the same harvest of each year? Because, you know, if you have a good harvest, chances are everybody else around will have a good harvest, so the prices stay about the same as if everyone has a bad harvest. So it just sort of evens out. Everyone is sort of in the same boat. Probably you get less money, but everyone gets less money, so it's not like you're far behind. But, you know, everyone needs to be paid anyway. So, you know, everyone just wants to go harvest every year because you've got mouths to feed and bills to pay and, like, machines to keep running. These things are really expensive in real life as well. And, like, you only use them once or twice a year for these combine harvesters. And then you just got to park them up for until the next summer. What's the point in that? That seems like a terrible thing. And over here they've started doing all sorts of environmental protection things, like reducing or requiring farmers to use less, you know, chemicals to fertilise and that. So they're getting a really stiff chance. They've limited sort of, you know, spreading of non-organic fertiliser and even organic fertiliser from water areas like the sea and waterways and anything like that. There's a buffer zone that they have to abide by, and if they don't, they're going to get shafted. And I do mean that. I mean, they're going to get a big fine, and many other things are not going to be very nice for them if they are found to be breaching that. You're not even allowed to spread manure or slurry on frozen ground over here, and they do enforce it. I remember reading from, like, I think it was this winter we had, where the environmental, you know, department in the city was notified by somebody, presumably who witnessed it, that a farmer was out spreading manure or slurry in the winter. And they went out, they did investigate, and I believe he was fined. I don't know for certain, I haven't heard about it. I just remember reading that they were out and about looking for it. Which is, yeah, tough business. I think that's normal practice elsewhere, that you just sort of spread it out even on frozen ground. I believe the reasoning behind banning it is that you can't actually get it into the ground. The ground can't absorb it if it's frozen, so it's just going to run into something that's not really meant to have slurry in it, such as a waterway that might become, you know, drinking water, or like fish live in, and fish don't like it when cows take a shit in their house. I wouldn't like it then if a cow took a shit in my house, so I'm all with the fish there. But it's kind of getting difficult really in the world, isn't it? Also with the lorry drivers and that. They're under so many regulations these days, and they, as well as farmers, sort of have a bad reputation for some ungodly reason that I can't work out. Lorry drivers and farmers and, you know, like bin men, like, who doesn't love a bin man? Who doesn't? Oh Christ, we're speeding! Oh, because we thought. Right, I was very nearly worried there, but I recovered. I didn't shat myself. I'm a big proud man for that. Yeah, who doesn't like bin men? Who doesn't like lorry drivers? Who doesn't like bus drivers? I have a favourite bus driver. Sadly, I didn't drive with him today. He's a lovely man, lovely top bloke, absolutely fantastic. He is the Danish version of Where's Waldo? Where's Waldy? Waldo? Yeah, he's got that name, just in Danish, you know. So already I'm on board. He won me over immediately by having a handwritten name tag on him. Immediately, 100% on board. Favourite bus driver, not lorry driver, don't have any of those. But certainly favourite bus driver, 10 out of 10. And he's the loveliest bloke in the world whenever people ask him for help. He's just so lovely and helpful. He's just a wonderful bus driver. More bus drivers should be like him. He's wonderful. I love the man. You know, it's nice. Who doesn't like bus drivers? They get many people from A to B. It's a wonderful thing. Same with, like, farmers. Yeah, you don't like them clocking up the roads. Well, guess what? No milk for you then. No bread for you. No beef for you. It's just, don't understand that part of, you know, human society, that you don't like the people that are doing things that make life possible. Like roadworks, yeah, they're pretty annoying. I agree. You'll slow down, you have to drive slowly. Sometimes there's a big lorry blocking the roadway, dumping some stuff off, but guess what? They're building the road that we want to drive on. So you just have to suck it up. And I have had to suck it up quite a bit. Because I've just been driving on roads where there have been roadworks, like a major junction. There's several major junctions, in fact, in the areas that I've been driving in, has been under roadworks for quite a long time. And it causes massive traffic issues. But you know what? We need to use those roads, and they need to be repaired and need to be widened so more people can drive on them. That's just how it is. We just got to suck it up. And that, I don't know if you heard it, that was for me. We reached the end of this pass just as I returned and finished whatever I had to go do. And we can go ahead and swing it around here. Yep, early October over here means the weather's just changed. Sunday was absolutely lovely. It was 18 degrees. Sunny, lovely, better than most of the days during the summer. And today it's been 10 degrees, wind and rain occasionally, especially in the afternoon. It was horrible weather this afternoon. Christ. I mean, right now it's what outside? I think it's 8.7 or something. My weather terminal says. And inside though, it's lovely. It's quite toasty actually. I've got it on 21 degrees because the sun's come out, so that's helped a bit. But usually I keep my indoor temperature around 20 degrees centigrade Celsius. Just for those of you in America who may think that I live in a house that I keep at sub-freezing temperatures, I don't. We're very much into the warm section. Why would you want it any warmer than that? You'd be sweating. I'd be needing shorts again. I've got long trousers on. I've got socks on. I even got a new pair of slippers. They're lovely. Why would I want it any warmer? Then again, I do thrive at about 15 degrees centigrade. That's basically t-shirt and shorts weather for me, so that probably explains parts of it. Let's just bring this around, lower it down and prepare for another pass. Oh yeah, next time round won't be as rushed when we seed and prepare over here. We've got, oh Christ, on a bicycle! We're doing all of the harvesting at many miles an hour. Okay, let's try and reduce the speed here. Don't know why we went that fast. And now the game sort of realised that we don't need to go that fast actually. And now we have normalised ourselves. That's a bit weird, but whatever. We massively did that quickly. No damage to anything, so why don't we just celebrate? And let's finish celebrating by dumping our harvested grain right into the trailer. I mean, we're driving by it, why wouldn't we? There's not a lot in there, but every little bit helps. And now we can get started with the longer rows. Well, actually, let's do a external pass first. That seems like a very smart thing indeed. We are folding in the... No. Pipe. I forgot how to fold in the pipe. That's not that. That's not that. No, that's not that either. How do I... Am I on... No, don't do that. There's the pipe folding in. Let's stop... Are we indicating... No, we're not. We were, but we're not anymore. Are we coming over here? We'll just do a header here. We'll just do a pass over here to give us a bit of a turning radius when we can actually turn around. And don't speed up too much. Let's try and reduce speed to about 6 on the old cruise control, so we don't go flying off into the distance. I'm guessing we're slowed down in more realistic based upon the yield that we get. So if we didn't fertilise this field, we could drive through it a bit quicker. But really, why would you want to do that? I might as well get as much out of the soil as possible on each harvest. I don't know about the grass fields, whether or not they're worth ploughing. I'm sort of up in arms about it. I have realised that I need vastly more grass fields than I have at the moment. I don't have enough bales, I think, to sustain cows for a very long time. Certainly my silage to bale ratio is ridiculously skewed in favour of silage, and I have absolutely no idea how much food each cow consumes during a day with Seasons mod, and you really have to plan it out with Seasons. You harvest once a year, like you can do grass a couple of times a year, but anything else is once a year kind of, and that really requires your planning. It really does. And here we come towards the end of this. That's a very straight line, so we don't really need to do much here. In fact, what we can do is use this as a... Oh, if we just do this here, for example, right, we just go forwards a bit more. Right, here we go, for example. What we want to do is bring shifters row forwards, and we want to try and draw it up here so it's as straight with this as possible. I mean, oh, hello. Hello. Oh, hello, that's still a bit wrong, isn't it? Maybe about there. I mean, that'll have to do. We can always just bring it in a bit. I think this is fairly bang on, actually. We'll just do it here so we have a bit of leeway. let's just make sure over here that we're not going into the trees. I think, is there not a... No, there's no road in there. If we go into that, there's just some trees, and then on the other side of those trees there's some water. So no problem if we'll go over there then. Oh, there we go though. Got this lined up sort of decent. We should sort of catch up with everything at the top end. Yeah, back to what I was talking about though. We really do need to plan it out here now. I think I talked about it a couple of times. Harvesting once a year. The animals don't get enough food, they die. Really, that's quite important. That's just an investment gone down the drain if all of that goes wrong. So I sort of want to make sure that I've got it right before I jump into it. So I'd like a few more bales just to get the whole thing sorted out. But it should help out now that we've had a couple of grass harvests. I can fertilise it and they'll be up in yield as well. How are we looking with those actually? Let's have a look here on that. Whoops, there we are, growth. Let's go with soil composition. Yeah, that's just on the second stage or third stage. So if we fertilise it once more, we should get an additional percentage increase in our yield. And that's very good. As effective as they can be is what I want them to be. And that's what I'm going to get. Is that my field over there? No, that's field number 17. Field number, but pretty much on the other side of our farm. That's 11, 18, 31, 21. I think they're really bloody pretty because they're up there on the high side. They'll have a fairly decent view, so they're definitely worth getting. But perhaps going for number 21, 22 in terms of grass first would be a good choice because they sort of border up to the fields we already have in our farmyard up there. And then if we want to do more maize silage, going for field number 9 or 32 or 34 for that will be useful. I found out that doing it on field number 10 and field number 15 is a major pain in the behind. You have to drive all the way around. Certainly if you want to do it properly, drive all the way around, drive up to the P on the map, turn in there, then go past field number 7, 8, around number 9, past all of those exclamation marks, through that little forest, onto the farm up there. And that's a very steep incline, parts of it anyway. So you sort of spend a lot of time driving back and forth, which really took up a lot of time that I don't need to spend on that. And there's no point doing it even if I had a... I don't even think there is a silage pit over on the main farm here. But why would I use it? It's nowhere near where our animals are kept. I want to keep the silage near the animals because that's where they need to be fed. Otherwise I'd spend a lot of time going back and forth, dropping up silage up there. But you know, that's how it goes. It does seem that no field for the other fields have actually grown, have they? Oh no, a couple of them, and a couple of them are... Oh, hang on, well, a couple of them... Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. Maybe the ambient field growing has just sort of shat itself because I used seasons and all of that. Hopefully that'll recover, but I don't know. Let's just see here. We've got a bit more being pooped out. But we are ready to lower it down here. The rain is coming at some point. I've already mentioned that. I don't know when. As soon as that hits, we have to stop here. There's literally no overextending it, and the next 3 days will be more of the same weather. So I'm guessing we won't have any harvesting really in those 3 days. Well, pretty much apart from the bits that I can do now. So let's just try and get all of this done and over with. As soon as we are done, we can go ahead and start cultivating and reseeding for next year, which is very important. That's what we make money off next year. We don't have to do maize next year, so well, what can we do? We can do barley and a canola field. That does seem like two good choices. Oh, don't know if I want to go into soybean. That doesn't seem to work that well. Although soil temperature is up quite high right now, it's going to drop fairly soon, so that doesn't really seem like a viable choice. We'll just bring this in over here. We could do another potato field, but that just takes a very long time to harvest. And perhaps a sugar beet. I can do the... What is it? Is it gold nugget? Or is it horseshoes? Or was it horseshoes and now it's gold nuggets? I don't remember. Anyway, we can do that for another 1 million. And that does seem like a very good choice. Just a bit of extra money. Free money, who doesn't like that, eh? I see, this is a problem with redoing the lane over here, the GPS, is that I end up with a couple of roads that needs to be redone in a bit of a weird way. Oh, well, we can sort that out later on. Meanwhile, we'll continue harvesting all of this lovely wheat. I seem to have got myself into a bit of a sticky situation here. I am approaching 90% full of my grain tank and my tractor is over there. I may have to reverse quite a bit because I don't think I can get all the way down. It's just touch and go. Nice and gentle. Or maybe we will, you don't know. Anyway, it's nearly 7 o'clock on a Wednesday night right now, and it's really much dark outside. That could probably be all of the clouds or all of the rain that I already talked about. It's gone very autumnal here, very quickly indeed. I hope you're having a lovely autumn. You know, it is what it is. Never really had a summer over here, but that's just how it goes sometimes. We'll just hope that the winter will be mild as well. That way, I don't know, do farmers hope for a mild winter or do they hope for a hard winter? I suppose you want either a very mild winter or a hard winter, right? That way the soil freezes properly up. Oh Christ, stop! I really should. Yeah, we can go in here with, when it's full to 100%, it'll stop instead of just speeding off like a madman. Up, nope. Up. Let's just try and remember all of the key combos over here as we reverse out. Let's just try and cheat a bit. Oh no, have I cocked it up completely? I have cocked it up completely by doing a new lay. Yeah, I've done the GPS in, haven't I? Why have you moved over a bit? Will you please... What are you... What? There we go. Okay, yeah, I'm confused. Outsies a bit. Like how we're looking here, that's about it. Reverse it back even further. Oh, I need to go quite far back. So engage the GPS, that works in reverse as well. That way we don't mess up the ground. Yeah, if they do add in terrain deformation, it will be nice to see ground compaction at the same time. I think those two sort of go hand in hand for farming. It certainly is a very important thing for farmers, isn't it? I've cocked it up again here. It's just awful this. We need to sort that out before we set off again. Oh well. Have I loaded something or done something wrong? I don't know. Yeah, let's just try and stop you here. Go and change focus forward. And then, can we actually see you? Well, can if I do that and I don't change forwards there? It does get a bit weird. I don't like it when it's raised up because it sort of tricks me. Hang on, have you trigged yourself up again? I mean, that looks bang on from where I'm standing. So let's do that here. Where's the tractor we had? It's right here, in fact. Swing you around with the Smith Super Cube on the back, which is a cool name. Don't know why it's as vibratory as it is, but that just seems to be a trait of the trailers. It's green on green, even with yellow wheels. Whoa, okay, you're not having a good time. This is looking like a physics gone mad at some point. Oh no, technically I'm a YouTuber. I'm supposed to go, you know, gone wrong, gone sexual. You'll never believe what happens next. You'll believe what happens next. Trust me. Let's just slow it down here, dump it into this. Stop. I've gone far. Reverse. Oh, we're getting full. We're getting very full indeed. Let's just go forwards. We need the back end filled up as well. We're looking at 97. We're technically missing the trailer a wee bit here. Now it's full. Let's go ahead then and drive this over to the filly-uppy pit thing. Yeah, I don't know if you have these systems on real farms where you just sort of dump it all into a centralised deposit thing and then it'll just appear in the silo thing. Not there. Which silo would that be? Would it be in here then? Would this be wheat and barley? Okay. That has disappeared. Is that meant for manual offloading and then I have to scoop it up? If it is, that's very nice and I like that a bit actually. I prefer that, so I'll try and do that later on. Let's try then and get another trailer just for experimentation. Let's get another modded one. No, we don't want any of these. These are a bit small, just 16,000 litres. What's the Super Cube? That's 20,000 litres. That's 23,000 litres. But I already have that one as silage. Had to swap it out for broadly the same reason. Do we not have... Oh, I haven't included the Richard Weston ones. They're kind of nice, though. I mean, I could go for these, but they're very small. What else do I have down here for these? I've got this one for 19, and that one just jumps up to 32. There is a gap in the market, certainly, over here. That's 18,000, but I need the IT runner for that. Not willing to grab that right now. We've got... Oh, there. Oh, silage. Not really willing for that. Why are you just sitting over there? That's like a small one. Anyway, that doesn't matter. We'll go ahead and grab... Oh, do we want... Oh, we can adjust it here. Stand-up wheel, set up road, wide, flotation. I have no idea what that is, but I'm very intrigued by it. Road, wide. Let's try flotation. Like, we'll find out what that is. Design. Yep, that's perfectly fine. But do we want to purchase this from 21? Yes, I do. Thank you, game. I detached my Super Cube, and we'll leave it right next to the Marston Ace 10. Untouch you here. What is the command? There's the command for getting rid of that. Don't need that attached right now. It's a lovely little one. Oh, it's even got Cobra Park Farm registration plates on the back. That's lovely. Incorrect, but lovely nonetheless. Let's see over here if this is as wobbly. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Fingers crossed it's not. I did have a Richard Weston as well, but that had a bit of a weird graphics glitch, like it went black for some reason. Let's see here, can we dump it in here? Let's see if this is all wobbly as well. Or maybe that'll just come later on. Anyway, we'll go ahead and we'll leave it here. It's just about 4,000 litres. Maybe it just works a bit better this way. Anyway, oh, turn the engine off. Now it's beeping at me, lovely. I'm adding a bit more headland down here. It just seemed a bit weird to turn around in such a tight space. Once that's done, we will go ahead and we'll try and wrap that up here for now. I don't know if I'll completely finish this little island of grain that we have in this video, but certainly we'll do some of it before we wrap up for today. What's our line looking here? Well, we may want to try and sort of do a V-shaped harvest here, sort of a wedge. That way we maximise, I suppose, our output. Although I'm leaving a fair bit over on our right-hand side, but that's okay. I have to do this by eye. I don't have the GPS to help me on this stretch, so, you know, I'll do it by eye. We could be caught out by the rain anyway. It could hit any minute, although usually you get a bit of a fog closing in. And something I haven't talked about at all this video is racing. I sort of thought I'd do a catch-up of that now. Formula 1 happened in Malaysia. Oh, yes, it did, didn't it? Oh, well, what's there to say? Nothing happened, did it? It was just, you know, boring Tokudrome. No excitement, no action at all. Just, you know, the box standard result. No, it wasn't. It certainly wasn't Singapore in terms of excitement, but it was fairly decent. Made a good show of itself. Well, where do we start off? Let's start off in free practice, because, you know, of course we are. Grosjean's hit a, I think it was just a rain-covered thing. It just came off the ground. It wasn't loaded in properly, hit his car, caused a major crash for him. Rather unfortunately, thankfully they got some dispensation to work overnight, which was quite right. It was force majeure, so they were allowed to repair the car. But they're now looking, apparently nearly $1 million of damage was done in that crash, and they're looking for some sort of compensation, presumably by the event organisers or track owners. I mean, they're the ones to be responsible. I don't really think it's Formula 1 management or the FIA that's at fault. Maybe if there was a sub-quality inspection of the section of that track, you could blame them for that, but that's not ever going to happen at all. Unless it's the FIA doing a claim, in which case that's definitely going to happen. But when it's a team, it's just not. That's just how it works. And then in qualifying, Sebastian Vettel had an issue with the car and didn't qualify, but he was granted start in the race. And then apparently on the grid, Raikkonen's car decided that it didn't want to be a Formula 1 car anymore. It wanted to be a Fiat from the 1990s, or an Alfa from the 1990s, so it broke down, and he didn't take the start. He wasn't a did not finisher, he was a did not start, because logically, when you can't start a race, you can't finish the race, so there's a bit of a difference there between DNF and DNS in motorsport. Obviously, it's also dynamic naming system on the computer. or something like that. Anyway, it's just a bit weird, yeah. Anyway, he didn't do that. Then Lewis Hamilton qualified on pole, as expected, really. Did a fairly decent job. I don't know if he had problems with the car, or if they... Oh, hang on, I need to line this up properly. I'm going in far early. I don't know if they had problems with his car, or they just decided to take it very easy. I'm guessing they... Oh, hello. I'm guessing they decided to take it very easy with his car, because he just was nowhere in the race. Decided to let Verstappen go, and never really bothered to challenge him at all. Fair enough, very clever strategy. That's how you win the World Championship. Then the race happened. There was a few incidents, but unusually well behaved by most of them. I say most of them because there were a couple of incidents. Palmer didn't exactly excel, did he? He had a moment, a couple of moments actually. He had a spin. Then he rejoined in front of Kevin Magnussen, who I think there was also an incident then, the last corner that I noticed. It sort of looked like they were getting tumbled over each other, and then they really tumbled over each other down in turn 1, which very nearly took out. I think that was Max Verstappen, it also very nearly took out. And just Palmer being an absolute idiot. That was an amateur move. He stuck his car in where he had absolutely no chance of doing anything. There was a car on the apex. He still stuck it in there. Very nearly crashed into him, had to spun out again and hit Kevin's car, which was unfortunate. But he had another tangle with Alonso a bit earlier on, which Alonso obviously thought, oh, that's, you know, he's a mad cunt and that. Racing incident, at the very least. Yeah, he defended a bit rough, Kevin did. But Alonso stuck it where he didn't have to stick it, so to say. And certainly held it on once it was, you know, no go, and he just moaned on the radio, because what else is Alonso going to do these days? He's in the car that can do nothing. So what does Alonso do? He goes on the radio and has a bit of a moan about everything. That just seems what he'd do these days. No wonder he can't get hired by any team. I mean, really, he really probably wants to go away from McLaren, but where's he going to go? There's nobody that's willing to hire him. He's not exactly loyal when things aren't going well for the team. So why would anybody hire him? Yeah, he's a very talented driver, no doubt about it. But he's disloyal. He's actively disloyal. If he was a character in any of the Total War games, he'd have the trait actively disloyal. You know, it's great. It's great to have somebody who's just essentially shit-posting in a Formula 1 race. That's great. But it adds nothing of value, I think. And then, what else happened? Oh yes, at the end of the race, after having driven a faultless race, Stroll decided to just carry on straight in the corner, and Sebastian Vettel was probably pushing a bit hard, I would say, for a cool-down lap, but crashed into Stroll, causing quite a lot of damage to his car. No gearbox damage from what I've heard, but still quite a lot of damage on that thing. And yeah, I definitely still pitch not Rosberg, Hamilton, that's the one, for the championship this year. I think Vettel's going to get grid penalties for using engine components, and I don't think the Mercedes are anywhere near that. So I've called it earlier on in the year as well, if you remember, quite early on, before the summer break even. I mentioned that he'd already used quite a lot of engine components, and he's on his last engine component for quite a few of them. I think it's only the MGUK who still has a couple left. And I don't think he can do the rest of the season without taking in any new components, and the grid penalties will begin coming in, and as soon as they do, that'll be the end of his title contention, leaving only Hamilton, who knows when to call it a day and just ease off and do everything. He's also not as temperamental of an idiot as Vettel is. Then again, I don't like Vettel. I just don't think he's a particularly likeable person. Surely he's got some decent talent. Nothing anywhere near Hamilton, or Schumacher for that matter, or Alonso even. Like, they're probably the two best drivers on the grid currently, Hamilton and Alonso. And Alonso, he's definitely past his prime. Hamilton's probably in his prime now. He had a very early championship back in 08, perhaps, with McLaren. Yeah, he was with McLaren at the time, and then Button got one with Brawn. And I usually get those two mixed up because, you know, both British drivers, both live in Monaco. Same thing, same thing. And then he's had the 2-1. Oh, what was that for a booming game? Anyway, that doesn't matter yet. So, I still think he's going to win. Verstappen won the race, of course. Nothing really to say about that. He drove a faultless race. For the ones, he didn't crash into anyone. Nor did his engine give up, and nobody crashed into him. So he could do quite a decent show of it. Quite well of him. You know, that's a good job. I'm willing to acknowledge it. I don't like him, but I can acknowledge that he did a very good job and he won. And fair and square, he won. He was the fastest car on that grid. Ricciardo's quite nice. Vettel did a very good job finishing 4th, by the way. Blimey, what a charger. Kvyat's out, of course. Because, of course, he is. Let's wrap up the Formula 1 here. Let's look forward to the weekend that we're currently in, because it's a bit weird because I'm recording this on Wednesday. And part of the racing has already happened, and part of the racing is already happening. We've got VLN. It's a terrible weekend for me. We've got a VLN. I think it's a 4 or 6 hour race from the Nürburgring, of course. Then we've got Petit Le Mans late afternoon into the evening, and then in 2 in the morning, I think, Danish time, we have the Bathurst 1000, which I'm probably just going to wait and watch in the afternoon. And then at 8 o'clock in the morning, we have the Formula 1 Grand Prix. So, fuck me, right? How am I meant to catch all of that? I think that's something like 24 hours of motor racing in 48 hours. Now, that is a lot of motor racing that I need to watch. Usually, I keep the VLN running in the background. I don't really sit down and watch that as much as some of the other stuff. I just love having it in the background because I like to look over. And there's racing in the fucking Nordschleife. That's great. I mean, it's everything I want, because there's all sorts of cars. There's an Opel Manta. Immediately I'm on board an Opel Manta. There's old Astras, old Golfs. It's just spectacular. Then, of course, there's Petit Le Mans, which presumably the Taylor brothers are going to win, because when don't they win apart from the last race they had at, was that Laguna Seca? Yeah, it was Laguna Seca. They won, of course. No, they didn't win there. There was somebody else that won. It was an LMP2 car, and that was quite important. Long overdue for a P2 car to win. But then again, just more proof that you can't really BOP driver skill, because the Taylor brothers just win everything they turn up in. And fair enough, they're very talented drivers. They should be winning everything. It's just a shame that, yeah. It's a very strong championship, the IMSA series. It's probably going to last, because it's a formula that the manufacturers really want to support, because it's beneficial for them. It's very close. Like, they can't just go out and buy a car if you have the money. You need to be selected by the manufacturers to run one of their cars. So why wouldn't they like that? They get everything the way they want. You know, I hold my reservations about that kind of stuff and how that's essentially very bad for the sport. And it's shifting the power to the wrong people. But, you know, another time for another day. I don't really know enough about it anyway to make any sort of educated statements on that. Just, you know, my own observations. But the GT field is fantastic. I mean, we've got essentially, and I'm very pleased about this, that Jan Magnussen has sealed pretty much his number 3 Corvette championship. Fantastic. Love the bloke. Lovely bloke. Love the old baldy bloke. He's fantastic. He was a bit disheartened, I think, last year and sort of early this year, because he had it's just been rough for the past couple of years for him and in that series. But they found their way. Like, it was such a visibly different Jan from, was it Sebring this year or last year? You could really tell a difference. When things started to go well, he sort of really found himself again, and that's great to see. He's just a lovely bloke. And you've got the Fords, who are the villains. Like, if you had the WWE, the Fords are the heels. They're the ones that, I mean, people like them. I just really, really dislike them. I'm at the point now where I don't want the Fords to win for any reason. If you can throw a bullshit penalty at them, throw a bullshit penalty at them. I literally don't give a shit. They're awful. First of all, they're not a GT car. They haven't built the homologated number of cars, so they should immediately be excluded for any GT racing until they have completed those cars. They haven't done. Chances are it'll be a very long time until they do, but it's Ford, so of course they got the money to sort that sort of thing out. It's just a shame that they are essentially racing a prototype for all intents and purposes against GT cars. You've got Ferrari Risi returned. Fantastic, love those blokes, top blokes, done a fantastic job. Shame they got crashed out at Le Mans. Championship obviously is gone for them because they missed several rounds of the IMSA series, but it's great to have them back. I hope they'll continue. Stevenson, they closed down, obviously that's a shame. The GT4 Camaro was a thing of beauty. That was probably my favourite current race car. That's just gone, absolute shame. Hope to see that back or somebody else race it. And then we've got the GTD cars, which is the GTDs. They're just GT3 cars. There's nothing much to say. Of course, we've got one Danish driver in there, Christina Nielsen. She's done a fantastic job. She really has done well with Bolton. He's been a tremendous trainer for her. Looking forward to seeing. Apparently, she's leaving Scuderia Course next year. It'll be interesting to see where she goes, if she moves up to a GTE team, or if she stays in GT3. Or if she goes into something completely different. That would be very interesting to follow. And Petit Le Mans, 10 hours of racing. Oh yeah, sign me up for that. Then of course there's Bathurst. Oh, Bathurst, Bathurst, Bathurst. Oh, Bathurst, how I love you. I'm really excited about the 2 races I get to watch from Bathurst. Like, ridiculously excited. First of all, because it's Aussie supercars. Just fantastic machines, those things. I love them to bits. And then around Bathurst, that circuit, that's just bonkers. Like, if you came... Oh, we need to empty this trailer. Yeah, if you came round to somebody today and you explained what you wanted to do, you want to go racing on a mountain? How do you want to do that? Alright, you want to go on the public roads over the mountain? You're bloody mad, mate. That's never going to happen. Oh, but it happens in Bathurst, of course. Up and down the mountain. Stunning circuit. I mean, I can't say enough praise about that place. It's fantastic. Every racing track should aspire to be like Bathurst. There'll be no more Azerbaijans, no more Abu Dhabis, no more boring Tilkedrums. It will just be fantastic. Proper, I shouldn't really say this, but proper hairy-chested man circuits, because, you know, they're women racers as well, and they do a fantastic job. There are women that are going to take part in the Bathurst 1000. Well, you know, it's a figure of speech. I don't mean literally all of that. Let's just be very clear out here. I think it's great women are doing it. Fantastic. It's one of the few sports in the world where women can compete on top level against men. It's one of the key points of motorsport and why it's great. Which is why it's very weird in certain other parts of the motoring world that you have women's championships, but whatever. Just go ahead and be patronising towards women. And similarly patronising towards men as well, because, you know, why can't we compete against women in a sport where it's entirely possible to do so? Anyway, that's, you know, a time for another day, you know. I am not a fan of that. I just think, you know, women, there's no physiological reasons, there's no legitimate reasons for why women can't race against men. Just let them do it. I mean, we've proven that by, you know, Christina Nielsen doing a fantastic job in the IMSA series. And there's also a woman racing in the IMSA Challenge series, and obviously with Simona Di Silvestro in Supercars this year. Not really competing as such, because she's a rookie in a formula that's just stupid. Like, you couldn't come up with that formula today as well. I mean, if you came up with the idea of having a front-engined, currently V8s, next year there'll be V6s, turbocharged V6s as well, but having a front-engined, sequential-driven, rear-wheel drive car that's very heavy, production-based, with skinny tyres, on a circuit, or on the circuits they do, there's a couple of street circuits in there, you just shake your head, go, you're not right. But with the Australians, of course, living in a place where, you know, every day they have to battle a crocodile or punch a big spider in the face just to get the newspaper in the morning, of course they're just gonna go, yeah mate, that's fucking racing, what do you expect? And that's a fair enough, or as they say, fair dinkum. Love the Aussies, they're fantastic people. I love their language. There's a cop show in Denmark where one of the blokes are in Australia with officers down there. It's just my favourite thing. I just want more Australians, and I want more Australians everywhere. They're just delightful people. Delightful people. Criminals, a lot of them, but, you know, that's their ancestors' fault. That's not really their own fault. If you don't know, Australia was formed by the British as a prison colony where they sent all their convicts. That's why it's a running joke. I don't literally mean they're all criminals. I don't think they are, but, you know, their ancestors are, so we can make a bit of fun about that. If you're Australian, hello. You know, with your things down under. Apparently, cunt's not a swear word. You're allowed to use that in sentences without it being derogatory in Australia. Literally the most Australian thing in the world. And I love it. That's a word it should be everywhere. Cunt's a great word. It's a word that has very much lost its meaning, but it's great. You can just throw it in somewhere. It's lovely. Try and say it now, everyone. Say it all in unison. Cunt. Ooh, you're a right old cunt, aren't you? That's being a right old cunt. Oh, yes, it is. Oh, the weather's a right cunt today. Oh, yes, it is. It's just a wonderful word. Anyway, it's been going on for far too long, this, so I think I'll go ahead and I'll wrap up this farming business for now. Hope you've enjoyed this video. We're going towards the rain, in fact. I've just noticed that up there. It's not closing in yet, but it certainly will be closing in soon. Goodbye for now.